Okay, so you're thinking about bringing on a Tntnet developer.
Sounds like you're aiming for some serious performance in your web applications.
You got it.
Yeah.
Especially if you need that tight integration with, existing C++
Right,
systems.
right.
But finding the right Tntnet developer, that can be a real challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty specialized skill set.
It's not like you can just, snap your fingers and find one.
Exactly. It's not like finding a typical full stack developer
So we're going to, try to give you the knowledge you need.
to make those smart hiring decisions.
Before we even really jump in, though, I highly recommend,
A great resource.
check out theperfectdeveloper.com.
I was just going to mention them.
Seriously, they have this 5 questions system that helps match people with,
They're ideal developers.
and it doesn't matter, what tech stack you're looking for.
Takes a lot of the guesswork out of it.
So what sets Tntnet developers apart from other developers?
Well, they're kind of like the bridge between web development and high-performance C++ systems.
Ah, I see. So they got to know both sides.
Yeah, think of it like a real-time stock trading platform.
Okay, I'm following you.
You need super fast processing, handle huge amounts of data
Right, make sure everything's talking to each other.
seamlessly. That's where Tntnet and its developers really shine.
That's a great example. I'm starting to get why finding these developers is tricky.
It's a niche market for sure.
So what kind of skills should you be looking for?
The absolute must-haves. Strong C++ proficiency, that's the foundation of Tntnet.
Makes sense.
But, they also need to understand those core web technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Right, because it's not just about the back end. It's got to connect to a user interface.
Exactly. And we can't forget about server-side development and database skills.
Oh, yeah, that's critical.
Working with databases is a huge part of the job.
Okay, so we've got the technical skills. What about the,
Soft skills.
yeah, the stuff that makes someone great to work with?
You're spot on.
Because technical skills are great, but if they can't communicate or work on a team,
Projects can go off the rails quickly.
yeah, so we're talking problem solving, clear communication, that collaborative spirit.
You need someone who can code, but also explain their ideas clearly, work with others, be proactive.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Now, I know everyone's wondering about salary expectations.
That's always a big one.
What's the range for these, in-demand Tntnet developers?
It really depends, experience, location, project complexity.
So give us the breakdown. Let's start with an entry-level developer in North America.
You're probably looking at around $60,000 to $80,000 a year.
Okay, and what about someone with more experience, like mid-level?
Mid-level, with a few years under their belt, you're looking at $80,000 to $120,000.
All right, and those senior developers?
Senior developers, the folks who are leading complex projects.
The real Tntnet gurus.
Yeah. You could be looking at $120,000 to $160,000, maybe even more.
Wow, so the range is pretty wide.
It really is. And remember, location plays a big role.
So Europe, Asia, you might find lower salaries.
Yeah, but then you have to factor in things like time zones and communication.
True, true. Lots to consider.
And don't forget about freelance rates. They can be a bit more flexible.
Good point. So where do you even start your search? Are there any specific platforms or strategies?
Well, you already mentioned theperfectdeveloper.com, and they have a great track record.
They got that 5-question system down.
Yeah, but beyond that, freelance platforms like Upwork or TopTal are good.
Especially for short-term projects, right?
Exactly. But for more long-term or someone who really integrates with your team,
I might want to look somewhere else.
developer communities like GitHub and Stack Overflow.
Ah, I see. See who's active in the Tntnet world.
Yeah, you can see their work, their contributions, how they answer questions.
That's a great way to get a sense of their expertise.
And their passion, right?
Absolutely. Now, what about recruitment agencies? Are they helpful?
They can be, especially for niche talent like Tntnet developers.
I imagine they save you a lot of time in the screening process.
For sure, they pre-vet candidates, so you're not starting from scratch.
That makes sense. So you're getting more qualified applicants right off the bat.
Exactly. Now, have you considered universities?
Oh, interesting. So partner with computer science departments or attend career fairs.
It's a great way to connect with up-and-coming Tntnet developers.
Yes. Find those hidden gems fresh out of school.
Exactly. They might not have years of experience.
But they're eager to learn and contribute.
And often, more affordable.
All right, so you found some promising candidates, you got their resumes, and you're ready for interviews.
The next step in the process.
What are some key things to keep in mind when interviewing potential Tntnet developers?
Don't just focus on the technical questions.
Right, go beyond that.
You want to assess their problem-solving approach, their communication skills.
How they work in a team.
Remember, you're not just hiring a coder, you're hiring someone to join your team.
So that cultural fit is really important.
Absolutely crucial. Ask about past projects, how they tackled challenges, how they collaborated,
Give them a chance to showcase those soft skills.
and see how they align with your company culture.
Before we move on, I want to, just emphasize the value of the perfectdeveloper.com again.
They really do streamline the process.
They find developers who have the technical skills and are a good cultural fit.
They've really figured out how to make the hiring process less painful.
All right, so let's talk hiring models. Do you go full-time, part-time, in-house, outsource?
So many options.
What factors should you consider when making that decision?
It all boils down to your project needs, your budget, your long-term goals.
Give us the rundown. Break it down for us.
Okay, so if you have a constant flow of Tntnet work, full-time can be a great investment.
They're dedicated to your company, really learn your systems.
Become a core part of the team.
Makes sense. But what if it's a shorter-term project or your budget is tight?
Then part-time or contract work could be more beneficial.
So you get the skills you need for the duration of the project.
Without the long-term commitment.
What about outsourcing? I've heard it's cost-effective, but I worry about communication and time zones.
Those are valid concerns. Outsourcing can be budget-friendly, but it requires careful management.
So clear expectations, regular communication.
And be mindful of those time zone differences.
So it's all about weighing the pros and cons, finding the model that fits your needs.
Every situation is different.
Now, once you found your Tntnet superstar, the work's not over, right?
Definitely not. The interview process is crucial.
What should we focus on during those interviews?
Dive deeper into their skills, experience, and personality.
Don't be afraid to ask specific questions.
Yeah, about past Tntnet projects, challenges they faced, how they overcame them.
You want to see their problem-solving skills in action.
Exactly. And their understanding of the nuances of Tntnet.
Can they communicate those technical concepts clearly?
Absolutely. And remember, it's a two-way street.
Give them a chance to ask questions too.
About your company, your culture, the project they'd be working on.
It's all about finding that perfect match.
Both technically and culturally.
And once again, this is where a resource like theperfectdeveloper.com can be so valuable.
They've really nailed the matching process.
They help you find developers with the right skills and the right fit.
Their 5-question system is a game changer.
So you've gone through the interviews, checked references, you've found your Tntnet developer.
The one you've been searching for.
Any final tips to make sure they're happy and productive in their new role?
Negotiating a fair salary and benefits package is key.
Yeah. Top talent knows their worth.
But it's also about creating a positive work environment.
Give them the tools and resources they need to succeed.
Opportunities for growth, open communication.
Foster that collaboration.
If you've done your due diligence and found the right developer, you're off to a great start.
Especially if you used a platform like theperfectdeveloper.com.
Couldn't agree more. Finding the right Tntnet developer can be tough.
But it's definitely achievable.
And the rewards, in terms of project success, can be huge.
So there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot.
In a short amount of time.
Hopefully you feel more confident about hiring Tntnet developers.
It's all about understanding their skills, knowing where to find them.
And creating an environment where they can thrive.
Before we wrap up,
Oh yes, before we move on to the next part,
one final thought that's crucial when evaluating Tntnet developers. Don't get so caught up in those technical skills that you forget about the human element.
yeah, like finding someone who's a good cultural fit,
Exactly. A developer who communicates well,
someone who's excited to collaborate.
Yeah, that can really make or break a project.
It's like that saying, hire for attitude, train for skill.
Right. Skills you can teach, but that personality,
That's harder to change.
so important, especially in a fast-paced environment.
And, finding that balance, especially in Tntnet,
It's not easy.
it can feel impossible.
Like searching for a needle in a haystack.
And that's why I keep coming back to theperfectdeveloper.com.
They really get it.
They've cracked the code, matching businesses with developers.
Who not only have the skills, but also fit the culture.
They take the stress out of hiring.
I love their 5 questions tool.
Me too. It helps you focus on what really matters.
So to wrap things up,
If you're looking for a Tntnet developer,
try the 5 questions now
at theperfectdeveloper.com.
and get ready to be amazed.
Seriously, it's a game changer.
And remember, building a great team, it's an investment.
Take your time, do your research.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's all the time we have for today's mini deep dive into Tntnet developers.
We hope you found it helpful.
And if you have any questions, reach out.
Happy hiring, everyone.
Yep.
It really is, A developer could be brilliant technically,
Right?
but if they can't explain their work, if they can't collaborate,
Yeah.
you're going to run into roadblocks.
It's about more than just, writing code.
Exactly, especially with Tntnet, it's so specialized.
You need somebody who can, like, bridge that gap.
Communicate those complex ideas to, well, everyone else.
And that's not always easy to find.
It's not. And that's where a resource like theperfectdeveloper.com can be so helpful.
They really seem to have figured out this whole matching thing.
Not just skills, but personality, work style, the whole package.
It takes so much of the guesswork out of it.
And their 5-question system, it really streamlines the process.
So to wrap things up, if you're on the hunt for a Tntnet developer, remember,
Don't just focus on the technical stuff.
right, those soft skills are crucial.
And cultural fit, don't underestimate that.
Knowing where to find these developers can save you so much time.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
There are resources out there, like theperfectdeveloper.com.
They can guide you through the whole process.
One final thought.
Building a great team, it's an investment.
Take your time, do your research.
Finding the right people can make all the difference.
And that brings us to the end of our mini deep dive into hiring Tntnet developers.
We hope this has been helpful.
Now go out there and find those Tntnet rock stars.
And don't forget,
Check out theperfectdeveloper.com, their 5 questions tool.
it can really help you find the perfect match.
Until next time.